What up, fam? It's your boy, Boy 2024, streaming to you live. Yeah, I know I've been kind of overdoing it with the shorts. I apologize for that. People have been telling me I've been kind of overdoing it with the shorts. I, I mean, I think I haven't done enough long form videos in a bit, and I'm trying to change that. I think you can understand why, where it's like the shorts, I love doing them. They're so easy to do, and they get great views. You spend 2 minutes making like a quick, I could bang out a couple of fast food videos right now, and they get like 900 views. Or I work 30-40 minutes on a video, and then it comes out and then like 5 people watch it. So it's like, it's kind of a no-brainer which one I want to do. But I also start to feel like I'm almost cheating, where like I just keep doing shorts, and so I'm trying to do an even mix. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, enter today's video. So as you guys know, I grab all of the weird retro, like obscure indie handheld devices that people have never heard of, and this is my latest acquisition. I wanted to talk about this for a little bit, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, as you guys know, I am secretly the Gold Ranger. I love everything gold. So I have like the Superboy Black Gold. I've talked about this to death. I still love this thing. This might be my favorite handheld. I do own a Playdate. I know everyone keeps asking me about the Playdate. I think Scott the Waz, yeah, he did a video recently called Death of the Handheld. Go check that out. That's a really good video. But he in that video, he mentions he just got a Playdate. I think that's why everyone's like suddenly asking me about my Playdate. And he also mentions the Evercade. So that was kind of a double whammy for me. I'm like, oh, awesome. Someone else, at least one other person has these two devices. But yeah, the Evercade family, if you will, is ever expanding. It's kind of like the way I think about like the Switch family. Like they have all these. They have the original Switch, they have the Switch Lite, they have the Switch OLED, and now we have the Nintendo Switch 2. So this whole family of Switch systems that are all kind of compatible with each other. Kind of think about that the same way as the Evercade. So the original Evercade came out. Honestly, it wasn't great, and that's kind of why I waited. I knew there would be a better model. And then we have the Evercade EXP, which is still one of my favorite designs for a handheld. I love the D-pad. I love the D-pad. I love how it feels. I love this like Arctic white design. And something that only the Evercade EXP has is this little T button. You hit the T button and you enter Taito mode, and now you have these two buttons here, and you're actually playing the vertical shooters like this, where we have so much more real estate on the screen. So that's honestly the best way. I'm skipping around. I apologize. So I brought a couple games, but to give you an idea, here's like Evercade does these little cartridge collections. So here's the IRM Arcade 1. So for example, you'd pop this bad boy in, not R-Type. R-Type in the hunt. This is probably the best one on this collection, is R-Type. Okay, this is a terrible example. This is a terrible example. So yeah, that's actually a horizontal shooter. We need a vertical shooter anyway. But yeah, some of the Capcom games included on here, like 1943, stuff like that. That's like a vertical scrolling shooter. That's where you would want Taito mode. That's where you would want this device to play it on. And the Evercade is kind of like I think of it as a budget Steam Deck. So, think of like, they have all these different Steam Decks now, like the Steam Deck OLED, the ROG Ally. So you got the ROG Ally, which is like $1,000. You got the Steam Deck OLED, the regular Steam Deck, there's, somewhere around $600, $500 or so. The Evercade EXP is my budget Steam Deck. That's like $130, I think. And I'm even behind. Now there's a newer Evercade, the Evercade EXP-R. The XPR, and I'm like, there's always like a newer model. You can't win. I bought the Switch OLED model, and I thought that was like the best of the best, and then they came out with the Switch 2, and I'm like, okay, I'm already behind again. But yeah, I bought the Evercade EXP. I love it. I'm already behind again. There's an EXP-R now. Whatever. You can play slightly more powerful consoles. Again, I'm skipping ahead. Let me just kind of. I got this cool pamphlet with this little guy, so let me just show you that. And this is something I can't really get across in a video. It's something you can only like physically feel yourself. But like all the Evercade material, like they don't cheap out. Like even when you hold a pamphlet, it's like high quality paper. Like you feel this is high quality paper. Same thing with this box. Like this box, honestly, it's just cheap cardboard. It's just cheap cardboard. Even though I love the black gold design, it's just cheap cardboard. You feel the Evercade box here. This is high quality. You feel this, you're like, oh wow, this is high quality. I can feel the little divots and everything. And again, this is the black gold color scheme. I had to get this. We're going to get to this in a second. But yeah, this is the pamphlet that came with my Super Pocket. And it gives you, like a little quick startup guide, that type of thing. But here's all of this. Here's all these like different releases that they've been doing. And this is why I love the Evercade. It's a very, niche thing. But for those of you who... I'll break it down real simple. For those of you who don't mind getting all of your games digitally, who, are worried about storage space in your house or whatever, yeah, get something like the Steam Deck, and then you can get everything on Steam, and it's all on your Steam Deck. It's all, digitally released. But for someone like me, there's people out there like myself who we miss physical media. We miss having physical cartridges to collect. We miss, the box art. We miss frickin'... I mean, tell me the last time you saw this. Like, it comes. There's the cartridge, and it comes with a full color manual. It comes with a little manual. When was the last time? Yeah, we miss gaming manuals. We really do. So the Evercade, the people who make Evercade, they're a British company called Blaze Entertainment. Blaze. That's appropriate. Yeah, there is Blaze Entertainment because they're fire. They're fire. And then there's Hyper Megatech, which same thing, same difference, because I know this just says, it doesn't say Blaze anywhere, it says Hyper Megatech. Same people, Evercade, same people. But yeah, there's all these different releases to collect, and I'm excited. I showed you, I have the IRM Arcade, and I have the Renovation 1 collection. But a bunch of these really do interest me. The Sunsoft collection, Aero the Acrobat, I really don't want to play that. They got the Duke Nukem collection. This all looks fire. Data East Arcade 2, I'm gonna get that one. I really like Data East. They've made some cool arcade games like the Super Burger Time, stuff like that. But yeah, it's nice that they give you a little checklist, a little pamphlet to let you know, hey, there's a lot more to collect out there. And these cartridges, it really depends. It really depends. So I'll get more into this in a second, but I bought one to go along with my Super Pocket. Again, so Super Pocket, sorry, I'm jumping all around. So Super Pocket, it is an Evercade, it is. So I was trying to break it down so that you got like, your Steam Decks, and then the Evercade is like a budget Steam Deck. And then there's the Super Pocket is like the budget Evercade, because this is MSRP is like, I don't know, $65 or something. So it's cheap compared to the EXP and the EXPR, but it plays the same shit. It plays it. See, it says it right there, compatible with all Evercade cartridges. So there you go. This is like your budget option. Honestly, if you're worried about like, spending too much, this is the way to go. This is the best way to go because it's the cheapest, and it plays all the same shit as your Evercade, as the Evercade would. The downside is, I'll fiddle with this in a moment, but you can already tell it's much smaller. So you have to really be okay with that. The screen's probably about the same size, but the handheld, it's very cramped. So that's one downside. Whereas like the Evercade, it just feels so good. It feels like a Switch. It feels like the Switch in your hands. And like I said, Evercade EXP has the Tate mode. Has that Tate mode where you flip it for the vertical shooters. So that's still the best way to play those games. So that's why I was careful. I made sure to get a collection that didn't have any vertical shooters. So there we go. So I'm going to use this for my Super Pocket. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so the Super Pocket, this is the Neo Geo version. There's a couple reasons I got this one. So this is, I mean, again, I love the black gold color scheme. You see my Superboy black gold. So that's why I went with this one. But the Neo Geo was a beast of a system. Nobody had it. It was like, I don't know. The system itself was like, insanely expensive. And even the games were these huge brick-sized things that were $200 a game. Like, it was definitely a niche thing. It was definitely for like, the creme de la creme. Like the upper class could play that and nobody else, because they were like arcade perfect transfers. Like, back in the day, you would port an arcade game to the Super Nintendo or the Genesis, and there had to be concessions. There had to be, Final Fight, they had to cut out an entire character for the Super Nintendo version, and they had to cut out a whole level too. But the Neo Geo was the one system that could play games at arcade perfect quality. And obviously I never had one. So this is a nice little, a nice little, like, not even a trip down memory lane. This is like a nice little opportunity for me to play these games. But like, people knew about the great deal. That's why when this thing first came out, it sold out instantly. it's all honestly, it was one of the few times I saw on Amazon that the product wasn't available, and so I've just been waiting, and then people of course would bought it and then were flipping it on Amazon, or excuse me, flipping it on eBay for $120. So at that point you're not saving any money. At that point, yeah, just buy the frickin' EXP. If you're paying like double the price for this, then what's the point? You're trying to save money, right? But they suddenly got like they suddenly got more in stock on Amazon. Like I saw they finally got like some more quantity, so I jumped on this. I got it for MSRP, and I was so happy about that. But yeah, this is like the newest line of Evercade's devices that they're putting out, the Super Pockets. And basically pick your favorite company, because there's a bunch of these for different companies. So if you like Atari, there's one that has a bunch of Atari games on it. If you like Taito, which is I love Taito. There's a Taito one with a bunch of Taito titles. There is a Data East one, and it looks it's like brownish. It kind of looks like a burger, which is funny because yeah, burger time. So I almost got that. The Data East one looks really cool too. So you have to pick like who's your favorite company. For me, I'm so curious about Neo Geo titles, so I got this one, and I love the black gold color scheme. It comes with 14 games to mess around with, so like I don't even need, that's the funny thing, is I could just do that. Like you could tell me it wasn't even compatible with Evercade cartridges, I still would have bought it. To 14 Neo Geo games to mess around with, like that's good enough for me. But then you add in the value of, hey, all of your Evercade cartridges that you've collected, or you can collect more, and they'll all play on this. So here we go. I have 14 Neo Geo games. I have 12 games in the Renovation Collection 1. I'm going to be busy for a while. I'm going to be busy for a while. I'll probably do a follow-up video. I don't want to like take too long. Like I want to do a follow-up where, give me some time on this, but I want to like fully review these. Like I'm going to go through like, hey, here's what I think of each of these 14 Neo Geo games. Hey, here's what I think of the Renovation Collection, and I'm going to go through all 12 games. Give me some time on that one. But let me just, again, popping this open. You got your cartridge. You've got a full color manual. Like, I miss this shit, and I love this. In the back of the manual, have you got them all? They give you a little checklist of all the games out so far. And this is an older cartridge, so that's already out of date. But yeah, they give you a little background on the company, Renovation. I'd never heard of this company, but I was looking up on Reddit, like the top, collections, the top like Evercade carts to collect, and people were saying like, oh, this is the best value. Like, there's so many obscure and rare games that are on this collection. So that's freaking awesome. They give you a background on the company, and then like, for each game, the controls, they give you a little background on the game, like a fun fact, and then a little summary of the plot. Tip: collect the same weapon multiple times to increase its level up to 3 times. Oh, it was cool. So yeah, the little backstory on each game. I love it. I love this little addition. I love that they went to the trouble to make these little booklets for each game. Yeah, the Evercade, I don't talk about it enough. I'm trying to change that. I've been sleeping on my Evercade because I've had one for a while, and I just don't really play it that much or talk about it. So I'm trying to do better. But yeah, this thing is so cool. This thing is so cool. You got the Fatal Fury. You got Terry Bogard, Mai Shiranui. Let me. I'm gonna pop this open. We're gonna do a little unboxing. It's funny because. So what I'm finding is I was actually struggling a lot with the top. There were like these little glue tabs on, these hyper stickers, hyper megatext stickers that were like, you could not get these off. And even after I got them off, I was trying not to damage the box because I love the box. I still couldn't get the top flap. It was much easier for me to open the bottom flap for some reason. So that's just how that worked out. But here it is. Here it is. I'm gonna kind of open it up now. It comes with a USB-C charging cable. I just use my either my Switch cable or my phone charging cable to charge it. But like, yeah, it's freaking tiny. It's freaking tiny. But yeah, perfectly matches the color scheme of my Superboy. That's why I like it. Yeah, nice. It's a nice D-pad. It's not as nice as the Evercade. The Evercade XP, like, that is the best D-pad you will ever feel. But what I do like is on the back here, So this is bullshit. This is nothing. This is just a placeholder, but I do like, oh, Evercade, get more games, scan the QR code. So this is not a cartridge. It's just a basically a placeholder so that dust doesn't get in the port. But because when you pop in an actual Evercade cartridge, it doesn't match the it doesn't match the console. So that's cool. There's like a little, but yeah, let me actually pop a real one in. So again, it's gonna be cramped. It's gonna be cramped. And my other downside for this one, you can map the buttons. Oh, here's your volume controller, by the way. You can map your buttons, and you have like these R1, R2, L2. You know, just by holding the damn thing, like you're gonna accidentally press these buttons on the back. So that's why I don't want to map any buttons to these back 4 buttons. You know, because like, there's no real estate. Like your hands are all over this thing. You're gonna be pressing these constantly by accident. So that's one downside. It is very cramped compared to the EXP. So whatever. Let's get this going. There we go. It is so cramped that I might be able to play this one-handed. We'll see about that. See, you can get the sound going. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can't see that. Oh, can you see that? You can't see this at all, can you? Yeah, here are the Evercade games, or excuse me, the Neo Geo games. Cycle through this list. So I've been Metal Slug X, like that's amazing. Oh, the glare is so bad. Ugh. Yeah, but what I'm loving is Sengoku 3. So you got your start button, your select button is what you do to insert coins, like insert credits. Yeah. There is, some of these games have 2-player mode. I don't know how that would work on the Evercade, unfortunately. So that's where you would need something like the Neo Geo Mini. They give you a little how to play. Yeah, this glare is awful. I apologize. I might film one of these. When I do the follow-up, I'll probably film at night so you can actually see the damn gameplay. I had the same problem when I was trying to do a Superboy video where I just couldn't show the footage because the glare was so freaking bad. You got 4 characters to choose from. I gotta go with the Kunoichi Kurenai. Oh man, she's a baddie. And it's interesting, there's different stages that have, like, yeah, different difficulty. Trying is the easiest stage. Yeah, it's going to be hard to play, and this is a disaster. Okay. Let's, so you hit this button here, and it will, blah, blah, blah. That's, yeah, so what's interesting is you don't, start does not, again, select is what increases your credits. Start does not pause the game. This little center button pauses the game, and then you can go and you can either save, you can go into, you know, the controls, you can reset the game, or you can quit the game. I'm gonna quit the game because I want to go back, because here you go, here's you have a choice between Neo Geo and then Evercade, which was that's how you'll access the cartridges. And I like it has that little sound. It's like, you know, powering up. Yeah, it's like inserting the cartridge there. You haven't experienced, I mean, there's so many games here. El Viento. You haven't experienced Valis. You haven't experienced Dinoland Pinball. So you have to see Dinoland Pinball. Wolf Team, okay. This thing's adorable. One player, two. Again, I don't know how a two-player would. I don't think I could connect Evercades. There's the US. That little slider's the power. There's the USB charging port. That's for headphones. So I could jam out to these cool tunes. Yeah, the sound's coming out of the back speaker there. It's a lovely little device. And again, if you can find it for MSRP, go for it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Let me show you a little bit of gameplay, or try to. Yep. Okay, so you gotta charge at the ball, and then yep. Can't really. Yeah, so I can only control the one flip. Okay. Yeah, this is a disaster. Yeah, this isn't working. This isn't working, but you can see a little bit of gameplay at least. You can see a little bit of gameplay. All right. But yeah. So again, I would say this is one of the more, you know, in demand Super Pockets. Maybe don't go for the Neo Geo, but there's definitely one you can find. You know, the Atari one, again, the games are like, you know, more primitive. So instead of 14 Neo Geo games, the Atari Super Pocket comes with like 50 Atari games. So it depends on what you care about more. You know what I mean? But I would still grab any pocket, because any Super Pocket, because let's say I missed out on this. Okay, I can still buy. They still have Evercade cartridges for Neo Geo. They have Neo Geo collections 1, 2, and 3 at this point. Same thing with okay, I'm bummed I didn't get the Data East Neo Geo excuse me. I'm combining terms now. I didn't get the Data East Super Pocket, but that's okay, because with this Super Pocket I can buy the Data East collections, that the various collections they have, and slap them into this bad boy, and now I do have access to those same games. That was the main reason why I didn't buy, there's also a Capcom Super Pocket, which if you don't have any of these things, yeah, go for that. Like there's some cool Capcom games on there. But if you already have the Evercade EXP, this came with like 10, no, I think 12 Capcom games preloaded on here. And those are basically the same games that would have come on the Capcom Edition Super Pocket. So that would have been a waste. I would have been getting the same games again. That was the main reason. I do like the design of the Capcom one, but that's the main reason I didn't get the Capcom Super Pocket. I don't have any of these Neo Geo games, you know what I mean? And also, if you look it up, so this guy, for example, it really depends on that's why, like, as soon as basically Blaze will have the license for some of these bigger names. Like they even had like a Namco Museum Collection 1 and 2. But those licenses will expire very quickly, and at that point they'll stop printing these, and then these cartridges become legacy carts. And what that means for you is like you're screwed. It means you're not going to be able to find them anymore, or they're going to be flipped on eBay for much more than MSRP. So I was lucky. I hit that happy medium with this collection where it's rare, it's desirable, but somehow it's still $30. These you always go for $30 at first, and then as soon as they sell out and become legacy, then you're like the Namco ones. I want to play them because Namco Museum 2 has Splatterhouse 2 and 3. But those go for like $130 on eBay now because they're legacy carts. They're very hard to find. They're desirable. They're rare. $130 will get you an Evercade EXPR. So I don't know if I'll spend that much on a single game cartridge. I don't think so. So for these, I think 30, and some people might even argue $30 is too expensive. I don't think so at all. Look at this. Look at this. Look at these 12 rare games that I got that I wouldn't have even known about. You know what I mean? I think $30 is totally fair as far as an asking price. Once you go a little bit above that, is it in the pamphlet? Might not be in the pamphlet. They have these newer carts now. Yeah, here we go. So the newest thing, look at this, Tomb Raider Collection 1. There's a little G in the upper corner, so there's these Giga carts now, and they're more designed for the EXPR. Like the XPR came bundled with Tomb Raider, so usually the Evercade, it was like 16-bit games, right? But with this, it's actually we're going up to the PlayStation 1, like 32-bit. So these will be a little more expensive, but they're more impressive. Like you get 3 Tomb Raider games on the PS1 on your Evercade, a Giga cart, and I think those are a little more, like $40. But again, there's a reason for why the price increase. You're getting more bang for your buck, really. So I do think, as far as game collecting, the Evercade is the way to go. The only thing is, like I said, some of these carts, like this is why I went for the Neo Geo Super Pocket, because Neo Geo Collection 1, 2, 3, these cartridges went from 30 to, I've seen them for like 130 on eBay. So $100 more. Yeah, so I won't be getting those probably anytime soon, but I will have this to play around with. Data East collections, those exist, even though I want the Data East Pocket. I can get the cartridges soon enough. The other cool thing about these, I don't have any to show you. I'm planning to expand my collection soon. But Evercade, it's not just about these retro collections. There are newer games. I keep going back to the pamphlet, but it's a handy tool. I want to go back to the pamphlet. Where is it? So, for example, and this is an earlier release. This is release number 11, going by the spine. Xenocrisis and Tanglewood. Those are 2 brand new games. Those are 2 new indie games, but they got a release on the Evercade, and that's how you know it's always a big deal when there's only like a couple. Usually these cartridges are like 10 games or 12 games. If it's just 2 on the cover, it's a big deal. So yeah, these are 2 basically new indie games that are on your Evercade, and you get both on one cartridge, same price for 30. But here's the thing, and this is what's really special. In Scott the Waz's video, he had a criticism, which I disagree with, but he was basically saying how, like, yeah, like the Evercade, it plays arcade games, it plays like retro games, but that's it. Like, what else does it do? Like, there are no like new games, there are no exclusives for this console. So is it really a console? Is it really a dedicated gaming console if there are no exclusive games made specifically for the Evercade? He might have a point here, but I want to point out, I would consider these a quasi-exclusive, okay? Where these games are available on things like Steam, but if you want like a physical release, a lot of the time, the only way to get these games physically is on the Evercade. There is no other version where you can actually hold it in your hand with like a full-color manual and a box art and everything. Those are only on the Evercade. Like, the only way to own these 2 games physically is to get that Evercade cartridge. So I would kind of deem that a quasi-exclusive, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I've rambled on for a while. We're approaching the 30-minute mark. I don't know if I have much else to say. Again, I've only like briefly messed around with a bunch of these, but I will come back to you guys when I've played more, and I'll be able to film something at night and be able to show you more footage. But so far, my thoughts for the Neo Geo. Obviously, Final Fight is amazing, but my favorite from this is the beat 'em up. I was messing around with Sengoku 3. That's a really, really good beat 'em up. I was getting really into that. The control is really good. It's really fast. Renovation, everyone's been talking up Valis. That's what the cover art girl, she looks like she's from Sailor Moon or something. People have been talking about Valis and Valis 2. This is what drives me up the wall. Where's Valis, or excuse me, Valis and Valis 3? Where's Valis 2? What the hell? This is supposed to be like a collection. Like, what the hell? No Valis 2. But yeah, people have been talking those 2 up. I'm excited to play all these. People have been talking up El Viento. I was playing around with Dinoland Pinball, and I absolutely loved it. That's the one I always get into, like the really weird, obscure one. But yeah, I love Dinoland Pinball. The sad thing is, with these carts, they always imply more, because obviously this company Renovation made a lot more than 12 games. And they picked some of the best for this collection, but it even says here, collection 1. So how many of these are they going to do? It's a crapshoot. You really don't know. So for example, Toa Plan Arcade or whatever, they've done 4 of those already. They're already up to collection 4 of those. But meanwhile, Renovation Collection 1, this came out in like 2022. There is no collection 2 yet. There still is not. I highly doubt there will be, because usually they bang these out like one after another and pretty quick. Like Namco Museum 1, Namco Museum 2, those came out pretty close to each other. This came out in 2022, and we have still had no word or anything about Renovation 2. I guess it totally depends on, you know, whether this sells well, or I don't know. I don't know how it works. It might not be Evercade's fault. It might be Evercade's fault. It might be the company Renovation. Maybe they don't want to play ball anymore. Maybe they said, oh yeah, we did the one collection, but no, you can't have the license to any more of our games. Who knows? Who the hell knows? But yeah, I think that's unfortunate. I think that it's kind of, you know, unfair that like some companies, they get like 4 freaking collections, and then something like this, which is pretty interesting to me. Yeah, where's collection 2? We only get the 1. That's it. Boom. It's over. You know, what the hell? And interestingly, I think some companies. I mean, they've gotten some big names. They've gotten, again, some big names like Namco, Capcom. You know, these are big names, and then some more obscure titles. But I don't think Neo. This is a very recent one, but yeah, SNK Neo Geo. That's a really big get. Like, that's a really big title. A really good get that they got. But to my knowledge, I don't think there is a Capcom collection cartridge. So again, if you're really into Capcom and you want some of those classic games, I would either get the EXPR, or a cheaper option, get the Super Pocket Capcom Edition, because it comes with the same built-in games. And then once again, you can play all the Evercade cartridges. The only reason I didn't get it would have been too much crossover. It would have been kind of a waste of time to get those same games again for my EXP. I already said that. I'm just rambling at this point. And again, I hit the 30-minute mark. Try not to go over that. So stay tuned. I will have more Neo Geo Super Pocket stuff. I'll have more stuff in the future. I'm planning to collect more Evercade carts. I want to get as many as humanly possible. Again, I'm going to try and only get ones for MSRP. I might be, like I said, for Tomb Raider, I can justify the $40, but I'm not really willing to go much more above that for these at the end of the day, these are just novelty cartridges. But oh, and that's the other thing I wanted to say real quick. So again, you know, it's cool to like find these games on, you know, you can find these games probably on Steam or Switch eShop or whatever, but you wouldn't know to look for them in the first place. That's what I really like about Evercade, is you get these like curated lists. You get these like little collections where it's like, you know, whatever, like, oh, I don't know anything about Data East, like, what have they done? And it's like, here you go, here's a cartridge with a bunch of their games. You will definitely find one that you like. And same thing here, like, I never heard of Renovation until now, but it looked interesting, so I got it. Here's 12 games to, you know, fuck around with. And I've already found one that I've absolutely fallen in love with, Dinoland Pinball. So it's like, I would have discovered these games without Evercade's help. Thank you. So yeah, I am a huge supporter of the Evercade. Please check it out.